Sorry for the delay, guys. Friday was tip number one for when you're doing a project of any size, no matter if it's on YouTube or for a big thing for a group. Never try to follow through on something when you're having a super emotional day, when you are very much a broken individual that has a lot of emotional and various different spiritual problems going on certain days where your own psyche is trying to wig you out on stuff. Anyway, though, enough real life stuff. Let's get into Merlin Weekly, aka Merlin Follow Up.
His name, Merlin.
What's going on, knights, lords, ladies, sorcerers, enchantresses, wizards, witches, everyone else in the whole world of Ambion? My name is V. Welcome back to a follow-up to Merlin Weekly, just being titled Merlin Follow-Up since I'm recording this on Friday. Hoping to get this posted by at least 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, US. So, to make up for the lost time, I actually decided to sit through and try to get as much information as I could about the 8th episode, simply known as Lamia. And how to really summarize this episode. So it kind of goes back to the whole formula of Monster of the Week thing that we know from the original Merlin series. You know, random, mysterious, a magical creature comes into play, and it's up to Merlin and a combination of Arthur to save the day. Only this time it kind of felt like I hate to say it like this, but a real life Halloween-y episode. And I only say this because it has like a lot of Halloween-y aspects to it. Kind of like the bewitching gaze of someone that's mysterious yet sultry to certain individuals that just lure people in with either innocence or with a tantalizing allure about their aura or whatever have you. Will they just be innocent characters that just happen to be twisted by design? Will they just be innocent looking to lure you in with false promises? That's basically the antagonist of the episode, but the gist is that in a town known as Longshore, at least I think it's pronounced Longshore, there has been an illness going around where they are looking for a physician. However, Gaius cannot go. So instead he's like, let me send my son Merlin out there. He knows something about being a physician. Merlin's just like, Dad thinks I'm a physician? I'm growing up in his eyes. And so, by decree of King Arthur, he then heads out with 4 of the Knights of the Round Table, aka the only 4 that we know about because the whole show won't flush out the entire Knights of the Round Table, to then go out to this place, and upon finding out that it was magic based, they tried to leave but end up meeting a mysterious girl that causes mayhem and disorder to befall our group of heroes. How will this all be fixed? How will all these things be reprimanded? Let us dive into the episode and find out, is basically the entire gist of the episode. So, Lamia. This is kind of like one of the weirdest episodes for me because I like it, but at the same time, I make fun of it way too much. Because, for one thing, Lamias are creatures that eat children by way of doing whatever means necessary, since the original Lamia from Greek mythology lost her children due to a curse and tried to steal children, which made the curse happen, making her half woman, half snake, which for certain people would be how infidelity things happen, as how people try to dissuade wrongful people to go into their relationships, even though certain relationships in Greece and other parts of the ancient world were way less, assertive about, you shouldn't be taking this person's husband, you shouldn't be taking this person's wife, because it's wrong, it's immoral, and you're a terrible person for doing so. Case in point, look at Zeus. So, whenever I think Lamia, like how I think about anything involving Greek mythology, I'm just thinking, this is so Freudian. It's basically saying that this is the person that steals their husbands away from their wives by offering to do things that the wives did not do that was deemed disgusting. Mostly from just using a shake weight, if you catch my drift, to then steal the baby gravy. That's how I view Lamia's, which makes this kind of the most immature way I could view this episode. Because in the way of how the Knights of the Round kind of act around Merlin, where it's just, since Merlin doesn't have a love interest and this girl is just all the time wooing these guys, in my mind I'm just like, she didn't really lure them in with innocence. She basically possessed them by not only offering, but definitely offering up mouth services. That's the kind of thing that happens when you use Greek creatures and Arthurian lore together. You can't take it seriously, or you gotta be very immature about things. But at the same time, it does show a bunch of different character developments and various different character moments that I didn't think would be possible. For one, Merlin as a physician. After years of working with guys, he actually shows competence to be a well-received physician. Maybe not a full trained one, but at least well enough to be trained by one of Camelot's best, if not the greatest physician in all of the story's history. Except for Gaius' love interest, but we're not talking about her today. Also, it shows that with how things have been developing throughout the whole season, Arthur's really coming into his own as a benevolent king. And I'm having a Zatch Bell moment, which reminds me we may have to start doing animation weekly reviews at some point in the future, but I'll leave that up to you guys later. From all the things that he would be doing, from execution of going over past actions to try and do the safest route for his people in the kingdom, looking out for everyone that is within his city walls and beyond to every reach of his territory, to also going that extra mile to save not only a lowly servant girl and his men and Merlin at the same time, at the risk of his own safety, rather than just being a king that sits on his ass and does nothing except just bark out orders for no good reason. It shows a lot of good moments, but then it also derails itself by doing various things that kind of go either too excessive or too stupid. Too stupid being Agravain, because Agravain is basically a blight on society that basically would have been better suited if his mother definitely had her child be stolen and eaten by a Lamia. Sorry, not sorry. But the two extreme would have to be how the bewitched Knights of the Round of Gawain, Elion, Leon, and Percival were treating Merlin throughout the whole episode, of just like, as soon as they got a little bit of action, they decided to be dicks. And they weren't really that kind to Gwen either, because it was kind of like the whole dude mentality from a frat of just like, come on, bro, don't be so mean and cruel to our woman, bro. I'll beat you down, bro. It's like, yo, dude, why be so mean to Merlin in the first place? All he was trying to do is either be super helpful, be by your side as a friend, or just try to point out the simple fact that just because she decided to do a little bit of some stuff for you and the boys does not mean that she is a friend. If anything, this just still leads in the fact that giving it away to whatever random person, whether it be male or female, and then just being super loyal to a complete stranger because they did some stuff that you've never seen before, is a terrible mentality. And should be very ashamed of yourself. I'm going to stop with these jokes now. So, that's basically the entire episode, along with a few sprinklings of the Arthur Gwen ship that is fully canon, obviously, at this point, because it's not like someone's going to come back in a future episode or anything. But I'm sure I'm getting ahead of myself. So, Lamia is basically an enjoyable episode if you guys want to take it for what it is, as a Halloween-esque episode of trying to do suspense of a Lamia trying to pick off the main protagonist one by one until it's just only 2 remaining survivors left, with a few homages to some things like Alien, for one, being the biggest prevalent factor of this whole entire script process. And if you want to also disregard some of the stupider moments, being all of Agravain's screen time, seriously, dude, just go rot in a ditch somewhere. You've exhausted your potential to be any sort of usefulness or interesting in this entire program. Go fuck yourself and die. And that's about it. If you guys really like the episode, then it's gonna be bomb. If you don't like the episode, then we got some more parts of Merlin you might be liking. It's getting better. It's getting to that sweet spot. That sweet spot that we all know and love. But we'll get into that in episode 9. I'll see you guys then.